"Can we share your fries, sir?" a single mom asked at the café, unaware she spoke to a billionaire. The rain had been falling for hours, tapping against the pavement like impatient fingers, as if the entire world was rushing towards something unseen. Inside the warm glow of the city café, the smell of roasted coffee, cinnamon pastries, and fried potatoes drifted in the air. And at a corner table near the window sat a man whose presence drew silent attention, Caleb Hartman, the billionaire nobody recognized. He wore a tailored charcoal suit that whispered power, but his eyes held a loneliness no wealth could ever erase. Just as he lifted a fry from his plate, a soft, hesitant voice broke through the hum of the café. It was a voice trembling with politeness, hope, and a mother's quiet desperation. "Excuse me, sir, can we share your fries?" Warning before the story continues: if you believe kindness, generosity, and second chances can change lives, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps spread stories that touch hearts. Her question hung in the air like a fragile thread, pulling his attention away from his thoughts. Caleb turned, and for the first time that day, his expression softened. Standing there was a young mother, her blonde hair slightly damp from the rain, her clothes simple and worn, yet her posture filled with a quiet dignity. Beside her clung a tiny boy with rosy cheeks, big curious eyes, and hunger gently shadowed behind his innocent smile. The mother's name was Emily Carter, a single mom carrying a heart full of love and a life full of burdens she never complained about. The café was nearly full, every table taken except his. She had walked around twice before gathering the courage to approach him. She didn't ask for money. She didn't ask for help. She only asked for a seat, and a few fries, for her son. It was the way she asked that stayed with him. Gentle. Respectful. Apologetic. As though she felt guilty for existing in a world where life had turned its sharpest edges toward her. Caleb nodded slowly, sliding the plate toward the boy with a warmth Emily didn't expect from a man dressed like he walked out of a boardroom. That simple gesture sparked something inside him, something he could neither name nor ignore. As the child reached for a fry with a shy giggle, Caleb felt a tug on something buried deep within him. Maybe it was the memory of his own childhood, one filled with hunger, cold nights, and a mother who fought alone against a world determined to break her. Maybe it was the raw innocence in the boy's eyes. Or maybe, it was Emily herself. Emily thanked him quietly, her voice soft but sincere, and the three of them sat together, an unlikely trio drawn into a moment neither expected. Caleb observed the way she watched her son eat, relief loosening her shoulders as if she'd been holding her breath for days. It wasn't just hunger she fought, it was fear of falling behind, fear of failing, fear of not being enough. As they sat, the café lights reflected in the window, painting their silhouettes like a scene from a life Emily wanted but never had. She didn't speak much, and when she did, it was always about her son. Caleb noticed how she let him eat first, pushing her own hunger aside, something he saw his mother do 1,000 times. He remembered how, after she passed away, he worked day and night, fueled by the promise he once whispered to her hand as a child, "Someday, I'll make life easier." But success never erased the emptiness. Yet, in this moment, with a young mother and her child sharing warm fries, it felt like his heart had found something it had searched years for. Emily didn't know who he was. She didn't see money, fame, or power. She only saw a kind stranger willing to share a plate of fries with her little boy. And Caleb realized how rare that feeling was, being seen simply as a human being. Her story unfolded slowly, in pieces she didn't mean to reveal. He noticed the patches on the boy's jacket, the worn-out soles of Emily's shoes, the way she counted coins before buying a small cup of coffee. He didn't pity her, he respected her. Every gesture spoke of a woman trying her very best, holding the world together with threads thin but unbroken. Emily had moved to the city to escape a painful past, raising her son alone after being left by someone who once promised forever. She worked 2 part-time jobs, one morning shift at a grocery store, another cleaning offices in the evening. Yet somehow, she still managed to smile at her son, offering him a childhood filled with warmth despite having little material comfort. Caleb listened, mesmerized by her strength, by the sacrifice she carried so quietly. The boy pointed at Caleb's suit, giggling at the shiny watch, asking innocent questions, and slowly, something unusual happened. Caleb started laughing, really laughing, something he hadn't done in years. Emily watched, surprised by how naturally he connected with her child. She had seen wealthy men before, usually distant, polished, and cold. But this man, there was something different. Something gentle behind the sharp edges. The moment stretched into nearly an hour, their conversation light, warm, and strangely comforting. Emily felt safe, a feeling she rarely experienced. And Caleb felt something he had forgotten, connection. But as their time together grew softer, life outside the café grew sharper. When Emily reached for her small purse to pay for the drink, her face dropped. The last few bills she had brought with her were gone, likely slipped out when she rushed in from the rain. A familiar panic flickered in her eyes, the kind only those who have known struggle understand. She apologized to the server, flustered, shoulders shrinking in shame. Caleb immediately reached for his wallet, but she gently stopped him with a trembling hand. "No, please. You've already shared your fries with us. I'll step outside and wait until I can bring it back. I promise." Her voice cracked slightly, not out of embarrassment, but out of fear that she would be seen as irresponsible. Caleb admired her pride. Her strength. Her refusal to let anyone think she was taking advantage. And at that moment, he could no longer sit quietly and watch her battle life alone. He insisted softly, a warmth in his tone that left no room for embarrassment. He paid not only for her drink, but for a warm meal for her son, something she initially resisted but ultimately accepted when she saw the genuine kindness in his eyes. She whispered thank you over and over, her gratitude not for the food, but for being treated with dignity. Their meeting should have ended there, but fate wasn't finished. The next morning, Caleb found himself replaying the encounter in his mind. Something inside him had shifted. The loneliness that lived quietly in his chest felt lighter, as though Emily's presence had cracked open a window in a room long locked away. He wondered how someone with so little could carry so much grace. He kept thinking about the boy's smile, Emily's shy laugh, and the way she looked relieved for just 1 hour, simply because someone cared. He couldn't shake the feeling that their paths weren't meant to cross only once. A week later, he spotted them again, this time outside a small grocery store where Emily worked the morning shift. She was struggling with heavy boxes, her face pale with exhaustion. The winter wind cut through her thin jacket, yet she kept going, determined to earn every dollar. He approached slowly, offering to help. She looked surprised to see him, almost embarrassed, but she accepted the help when her tired arms gave out completely. They placed the boxes inside, and she offered him a small, grateful smile. "It's been a tough week," she admitted softly, brushing her hair behind her ear. "My son got sick. Missed work for 2 days. Things are tight." She didn't complain, she never did. She simply stated the truth, then moved on, carrying her burdens quietly. Caleb wanted to do something, anything, to ease her struggle. But he knew she wouldn't accept charity. She had a spine made of resilience. So he came up with a plan. He returned a few days later pretending to be an investor looking to support small community businesses. He suggested the grocery store expand its inventory and offered financial backing, but only if they hired more staff. Emily was hired full-time the next morning with better pay and benefits, completely unaware that the anonymous investor responsible was the same man who shared fries with her son. For the first time in months, she could breathe. Caleb continued visiting the grocery store occasionally under the simple excuse of buying fruit or coffee. Each visit melted more of the distance between them. They talked more. They laughed more. Even her son ran to him each time,